Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Time for some cricket. At stumps on day 3 of the Windies' best versus best 40 squad match at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium in St. Lucia, Jamar Hamilton's 11 or 218 for 4, needing a further 93 runs to beat Jermaine Blackwood's 11. The players are using the game to prepare for the 2-match test series against South Africa starting June 10. Resuming day 3 on 197 for 3 for an overall lead of 283. Blackwood's 11 was dismissed for 224, with opener Shai Hope top scoring with 106. Chasing 311 to win, Hamilton's 11 lost 4 wickets as they reached 218 at the close of play. Scores in the match: Blackwood's 11 264 and 224. Hamilton's 11 178 and 218 for 4. Shai Hope has enjoyed this game, making 79 in his first knock and then 106 in the second innings. The Barbadian says he's happy to be back among the runs. Well, since being dropped from the West Indies Test squad in November last year, Hope has played 2 red ball practice games, making scores of 68, 79 and 106. With the Windies clearly weak at the top of the order, the question is, has Shai Hope done enough to convince selectors to try him as Craig Brathwaite's opening partner for the South Africa Test? Well, joining us to answer this question is none other than Fazeer Mohammed. Fazeer, welcome.
Good to be on the show once again.
Always happy to have you. So that big question, Shai Hope showing some really promising signs. Does he get back into the team?
Yeah, I think it's a fait accompli, even though today Kieran Powell got 95, and clearly he would have been in consideration as well. When you look at someone of the quality of Shai Hope, and yes, he needed to be left out of the team for some time to try to sort his game out. The pity is that in our regional game right now, compounded by the COVID-19 situation, there really is much opportunity for our cricketers to play enough first-class cricket, 3-day cricket, 4-day cricket, to really get themselves attuned. But the opportunities that he's gotten, certainly with this match that is going on right now, to get a half century and then 100, more or less in my own mind, formulates his return to the Test team at the top of the order, where he made his debut some 6 years ago. So yes, his numbers are very ordinary at the moment in Test cricket, but I think he's done enough to get back in at the top of the order, especially with John Campbell continuing to struggle, and he's got an injury concern as well.
Definitely. And Faz, many a times we like to talk about these players, getting starts and not capitalizing on it. What Shai Hope has shown us, and I mean, it's just practice matches, it's not actually the real matches as yet, but he has shown us the ability to get that start and capitalize on it. I think what stood out for me the most is he actually got a dozen of sixes. How did you read, his batting style, the new approach? Because he said he's taking it with intent.
Yeah, well, I think he would have been stung by being left out. And let's not forget that Shai Hope has been heralded as the future of West Indies batsmanship. It was 4 years ago that we were celebrating one of the greatest batting performances that we've seen in recent times in the West Indies context, with those twin hundreds at Headingley, where the West Indies famously won that Test match. Of course, Craig Brathwaite, his fellow Barbadian, came close to getting twin hundreds himself. And from that point on, he got a half century at Lords. He followed it up with a 90 not out in Zimbabwe. He got a 90 prior to that against Pakistan when the West Indies won in Barbados. So it seemed that he had gotten over whatever mental or technical hurdle. But then since then, it's been all downhill virtually in the Test game, in stark contrast to what is happening in the 50-over game. He's one of the best in the world and the most consistent and productive in 50-over cricket. But now he has the opportunity, I suspect, once again, to show that the form that he showed, whether it's being more positive, whether it's scoring more sixes or more fours, that is almost inconsequential to the fact that he needs to produce runs at Test level. It's just not good enough, whether the West Indies are heading in the right direction or not, for someone to be at the top of your order and averaging in the mid-20s or the low 20s. That can't be tolerated for long, which is why he was left out. The hope being that he would have taken advantage of the time out of the game. And certainly from a West Indies perspective, the runs that he's producing now suggest that he deserved the opportunity to prove himself at the highest level once again.
Yeah, Faz, knowing you, I know that you won't put too much weight on world batting rankings, ICC rankings, but they do reflect performances, don't they? And right now, there's no West Indies batsman in Test cricket that is anywhere near top flight in the world rankings. Jason Holder is the highest rated West Indies batsman in Test cricket at the moment at 38, and then there's Craig Brathwaite at 43 and others. Contrast that to Shai Hope's ODI batting ranking at the moment, number 9. You just mentioned he's one of the best in the world. How does he sort this problem out? Because when he plays ODI cricket, he looks a high quality batsman, but his Test average of 26 hardly suggests that he has, put his hand up to say, yes, give me another chance outside of these in-form knocks that we're seeing in St. Lucia.
You're right, Lance. Well, that's exactly why we've all been scratching our heads for the last 3 or 4 years as to why someone who looks so assured in the 50-over game looks so indecisive when it's the red ball. Is it because of the relaxed situation? Because no one has 3 slips on a gully and a forward short leg and a leg slip, or is dealing you a set of bumpers in the longer form, in the shorter form of the game. You do have that opportunity to really get going. But again, he looks a different player when you're talking about the white ball game, especially 50 overs side. When it comes to the Test game, as he played his last Test matches in England, he looked all at sea. He looked almost incapable of getting a run. But again, he speaks in a confident manner. He's always given that measure of assurance, almost arrogance when you talk, and we need to see that now. And it may be mental more than anything else. There may be certain technical elements that he would have had to work on as well. But here again is the opportunity. It's one of those puzzling situations, Lance, where someone who just seems to score runs as if it's the easiest thing in the world in one format of the game, and then you go to the other format and can barely get a run. So it's really difficult to work it out.
Yeah, John Campbell, you mentioned that apparently has a niggle. Outside of the niggle, he is not really played in a compelling way to suggest that, he's hanging on tightly to his spot. You mentioned correctly just now that Kyron Powell got 95 today. I would think that from a strategic standpoint, they wouldn't mind having a left-hander and a right-hander opening the batting, which John Campbell and Kyron Powell are left-handers. Do you think Kyron Powell's innings today puts him in the reckoning in a serious way?
Puts him in the reckoning, yes, but I would think at the moment, clearly it's up to the selectors, Roger Harper and company, the captain of the team, Craig Brathwaite. They will be the ones to have the final say. Phil Simmons, the coach, let's not forget. So that left-right-hand combination might be an important element. But if you've got a left-right-hand combination where they're not really producing consistently, it really doesn't matter. You need to get 2 players, be they left-handed, right-handed, or holding the bat upside down, who are going to score runs for you, or at least going to give you a start. Because the essence of opening the batting in the Test game, Lance, is essentially to see off the new ball. If you can get to lunch, if you can get past an hour with no wickets down or with 1 wicket down, you've essentially done your job. And we talk a lot about the Greenwich and the Haynes and the Ray and the Stallmeyer, the Conrad Hunts and company, who give you these fantastic partnerships and so on. That is almost a bonus, because essentially, if you're talking about traditional, proper Test cricket, what you want from your openers is to wear down the opening bowlers, to see off the shine, and then you've got the match almost, or at least the innings, by the scruff of the neck. So it's sort of saying, well, the fluid boundaries and the nice shots and so on are fine, but you've got to stick it out. You've got to stick it out for an hour, 2 hours a session. Then you can get your bonus runs. But ultimately, you are there to make things easy for the batsman to come.
Faz, all right. Well, thank you so much for your input, and we're looking forward to talk to you as we get set to face South Africa.
Certainly looking forward. It's going to be a very interesting series.
Thanks again. Of course, Fazeer Mohammed there from Trinidad and Tobago. He's a man who knows his sports, and as well as a journalist back in Trinidad and Tobago. So, Lance and George, Shai Hope, he's back.
You know what I've been finding curious all day is how is it that I don't think I can recall a time when a West Indies batsman who was dropped from a Test squad played his way into a subsequent Test squad by scoring runs in practice games. And I like the cricket historians to tell me when, because here's the thing now. Shai Hope hasn't had the chance, as Fazeer noted, to play first-class, regional first-class games to really show that he has the tools to pick up where he left off at Headingley in that epochal performance against England in that test match where he was otherworldly, and he's been nothing near that in the intervening period. So how does he go from being dropped because of a string of subpar scores to now being talked up for a return to the test arena when all he has played are squad games? I can't figure it out unless the spot that he's being put into or he's being spoken into is being held by someone who looks nervy and uncertain and in John Campbell. Is it that John Campbell is unfortunate that people are talking about this Shai Hope and almost talking Shai Hope into taking his game? I don't know, but it's just very curious, all these things for me.
I guess the discussion also skyrocketed because John Campbell picked up a niggle as well. So many people are saying, well, seeing that he has that minor injury, it may actually put Shai Hope into a better contention for the spot.
But it still doesn't make sense to me, because I'm saying it's not as if the batsmen that are available to the coaches, are you saying that nobody can open, nobody who we've picked because of form and aptitude can play, and we want to get Shai Hope so bad? John Campbell's head is hurting, he has a headache, get Shai Hope into that opening slot.
Hope it is. I don't know. We'll go to break and we'll come back. We'll see when they name that team.